Yo, what is good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Base Fuego and Sonrisa podcast.
Hey.
Hell yeah.
Today we have a special guest, our first returning guest actually to the podcast. So we are very grateful for our guests joining us today. Everybody, please give a round of applause, a heavy round of applause for Efren Garcia, the champion. Woo!
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Glad to be back. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and thanks for making it work on a Saturday. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely,
man.
man. Yeah, definitely, man. It's always a pleasure. It's always a pleasure talking to you, even outside of the podcast. So to have you back on, it's gonna be very interesting. Very excited for this episode.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So with that said, guys, we kind of just wanted to kind of have a discussion more so about what's going on with men's identity going on nowadays, specifically with how we've been progressing so much with like women's rights and other abilities to progress in the career fields and become CEOs. There's been so much change, but the things that one side seems to focus more on only women's freedom and all the rights, which I think is a really cool thing. And on the opposite side, they tend to want to still embrace men, but kind of want to shift back to the old times. And men nowadays are kind of lost in this bubble because, especially young men, if they're growing up,
Yeah.
they're not really accustomed to the traditional world, and at the same time, they're seeing all this rise of feminism and all these rights, and they're kind of lost because men have been told to always be providers. So, yeah, we kind of want to get into this identity crisis that men are dealing with today, in a sense of that their woman or their wife or their girlfriend, their girlfriend or their wife. Come here, woman. But the woman or the I'm too traditional. What's going on with me? But yeah, that they're the ones being more so the breadwinners nowadays when that used to be the role for men. So yeah, we'll get into that. I just want to give you guys kind of a synopsis of what's going to happen. But yeah, let me go ahead and get to it.
Cool.
All right.
Okay, cool. So let me go ahead and play that for you.
That's one of the things I think is most important is, especially I think in American society, we have this concept of masculinity that is centered around being the breadwinner.
Right.
And then when you make it more and more difficult to fulfill that role, it's like, okay, well, what am I then? What is the role that I'm supposed to, or am I just a failure? Like, am I terrible? And that opens up a window for people who maybe don't have the best messaging to come and say, well, it's these, these B words, but
yes. We can't say that.
it's
right.
these ladies over here who are really your problem.
Yeah. It's the feminists' fault.
Nice. That's right. It's the feminists' fault. There you go.
And that's exactly the debate we're having right now.
Right.
And I think what we see on the left is an unwillingness to acknowledge some of these issues at all, for fear that means betraying your commitment to women, which we've already talked about. But on the right, there's this sort of magical thinking, which is, let's go back to the way things used to be. Let's go back to the way men and women knew their place and to marriages based on economic dependency. We live in a world now where 40% of women earn more than the average man.
Right.
That was 13% in 1979. And so 41% of households have a female breadwinner. This has been a huge change. And a wonderful change, arguably the biggest economic liberation in human history. What it means, though, is that old model of masculinity, of masculine success, is not coming back. And politicians on the right, who somehow think they can wave a magic wand and bring it back, are selling everyone a lie. So the left are effectively turning their backs on boys and men, but the right are trying to turn back the clock on women and girls. And everybody I know is just trying to figure this out. And we need a model of mature masculinity that is compatible with gender equality.
One of the things I think.
Definitely.
So a whole lot there to break down.
Oh yeah.
So Reeves, I don't know if you want to go ahead and start this or hand the mic out to Efren.
I've just asked Efren, like, what do you think about like what he just said about the political divide between the left not wanting to acknowledge the problem and then the right wanting to go back to the old days?
I think, well, I mean, it's like, it's happening. Like, there's nothing we can do about that. But overall, I think we need to see what's happening at the moment right now, because it's happening right now, and it's like everyone's stuck, right? We don't know. some guys that are younger don't know what to do with their role as a male in America, right? And so for like in my situation, like my wife does make more money than me, but it's like how do we adapt to being equal? You know what I'm saying? Because like there's like let's say your parents are telling you to be this way, and then society is telling you to do this, and then you have whatever social media is telling you to do, and it's like, what do I do as a guy that's like, let's say 17 or 18 years old, that I'm trying to start a career or go to college, or like you don't know what to do, or like in high school, like you enter high school, you're like middle school to high school, and you're like, what do I do? You know, like there's no, like you said, there's nothing to, like, how do I put this? There's nothing to guide us into what's to come in our future or the future of our children.
Definitely. I definitely see what you're saying. There's like, I think there's two extreme ideas, right? The left, the left just wants to ignore the issue and pretend it doesn't exist, and then the right just wants to like magical thinking, like the guy says. So I'm wondering if part of the problem is that there is no, like, we're going to get into this a little bit more later, but there is no new script for guys, right? There is no what is masculinity 2.0, right? There's 1.0 version, which is, you know, you go make the money and you come and provide for the family, which is great. But now that a lot more women are making more money than men, if that used to be the whole identity of a man, then we kind of have to rethink what else is there besides just the money aspect. What do you think, Fuego?
Yeah, I think just going off with both you guys said, I think that like Efren noted, there isn't really a script for men nowadays. One, the right, like the left seems to promote women and the rights, and which is really cool. But I think it says it in the video, but they seem to do that more so just so that they don't lose the support in regards to like voting. So I know that's more on the political side, but that's why they shun away from men and giving them some type of progressive or some new modern type of form of masculinity. So I think there's that. And then, so again, right, there's no script. Men are seeing the world that they're being told is going on, and they don't really see it sometimes. There's some people outside of different states, different cities that are not seeing what's going on, and they're a bit confused, as in like, for example, if they're talking about toxic masculinity, well, then a man's going to feel like, or a teenager is going to feel like, whoa, like it's toxic to even be myself. So I think without having that script, with the woman making more, and they've been told their whole life to, you know, you're going to be the provider, you're going to take care of your family, you're going to settle down, you're going to have kids, you're going to be out there making more of the money, taking care of everyone. And then now your girlfriend or your wife is doing that. Well, kind of puts you in a predicament, and not only for yourself, but even in society. I think Efren mentioned that too. Like, I mean, hopefully you have good friends, right? But for a man, if your woman makes more, that guy might feel a bit of not insecure, but maybe a little bit, right?
No,
like,
it's true. No, you will. And also, like, I think we've gotten to the point where it's like the men are here, the women have been here. It's starting to get to like, well, we're equal, but it's like, it's still like we're pushing this, we're forgetting about us. You know what I'm saying? We're forgetting about what the struggles of men's like mental health or everything else that's going on in between. It's like the women are now trying to be more than equal when it comes to the extremes aspects of like feminism or anything like that. You know, feminists that are like extreme feminists that literally just think that they're like better, and that we're the toxic masculinity. We're like the toxic men, or like all men are, you know, whatever. All this, you know, because obviously, like if you're not, you know, what do they say? Like all men are pigs or whatever. I don't know.
Trash.
All men are trash. It's like, I know I'm not trash, but I know they're not talking about me, you know. But that's the whole thing. Like, yeah, if you're trash, then it fits. You know? But I know I'm not.
That was a garbage, man. So I don't know.
If the shoe fits, you know, be offended. But if not, then like, I know I'm not trash. You know what I'm saying?
I have yet to see any guys that were in the dumpster. Dumpster divers. Yeah, I mean, I think the ones that are leading so there's like the first wave of feminism, which is like equal voting, then the second wave feminism was like equal working rights, and the ones that are leading the charge now, I would say, are a little bit more on the extremist side. They're more like, I don't know, they're the ones that want to get you enraged on Twitter and saying all these stupid things.
like
So
anti-man,
huh?
like
Yeah,
anti-man.
exactly.
You know, it's like white feminists. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't see Latina or black feminists. Like that ain't. You don't see black feminists or Latina feminists at that same level ever.
Mm.
Rarely. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's always like it's white feminism, which is its own little spectrum. You know, and it's what gets pushed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's,
I guess we all need to take sensitivity training classes after this.
Gotta contact HR, you know.
Yeah.
they're gonna call it on us. These guys are too unhinged.
Get points. Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with that. It's just I think we're starting to see a little bit more of it now, but women need to continue to call each other out, you know? Just like we call out men for their bad behavior, women need to call themselves out for their own bad behavior.
I think it might be happening a little bit more with certain things that, like, I mean, like obviously with social media and like the abuse that men do go through, certain things that women go through when it comes to being like physically or mentally abused, you know, and it's something that never doesn't get talked about, where, you know, well, I am better, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they get, like you said, like maybe some men will have like a lower paying job than their wife, and they use that against each other. You know, they'll use their income
shaming.
to like put them down. Yeah. But I think that does happen in certain relationships.
Did you see
that's a whole other story.
No, yeah, that's a actually perfect topic that we can actually talk about. Did you see the video that we did, or the podcast that we did previously?
I haven't caught up.
Okay, so we were reacting to Abba Preach reacting to a video, and the video was about these women that are getting interviewed, and they're asking, so what is your ideal salary for a man? And these women, you know, they're decent looking and everything, nothing wrong with that.
They're hot. Yeah, they're hot.
They're,
Yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
they're pretty good looking, but
Hell yeah.
I was like, oh, one of them was like 100,000, and then another one's like, yeah, to provide for my family and everything, 400,000. Like, so it's crazy to believe that that's kind of like becoming. I don't know if that's just becoming the norm. Like, there's this idea that if you're not making six, you know, 1 0 with five, or one with 5 zeros at the end, then you're not a man. So what do you think about that, like, in that terms?
I mean, I don't make that much, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm
Yeah.
still, you know, the biggest man I'm gonna be, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think that, like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I think it also depends on people's relationship with money, but I think it's bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Money shouldn't make you like a more of a man or less of a man. You know, as long as you've got your responsibilities together, and you got you know, you're taking care of your family, whichever way you can. Like, that's bullshit. You can't put a price on masculinity. You know,
That's true.
you can't.
What do you think, Fuego?
Because there's like guys that are like scumbags that are making like over $100,000.
That's true
You know
too.
what I'm saying? So
Yeah, no, I hear that. It's such a thing, and then especially with you know, being good looking and having these high standards, and like we mentioned earlier, just that gap in who's better than the other, and women having an ego flared up because of that, right? They're getting so many, they have so many options nowadays that they built this type of entitlement where, like, hey, I'm good looking, my vajayjay is worth a lot, so I could pretty much ask for what I'm looking for, in the sense of like, I can ask for men who are making this amount of money, and if he's not making it, then that's it. And like, it's funny. I was mentioning it to Senor Sarisa yesterday. I was just like on TikTok yesterday, just like on the live, right? Because they have lives, and there's like this bad Filipina popped up. I'm like, let me see. She's like in her kitchen. She's just like in her kitchen, just chilling, doing her thing. And I'm like, all right, so I'm watching it, right? And I guess she got to a point where it's like she was saying that, like, and it kind of makes sense, but anyway, she goes like, yeah, like I've been dealing with so many bad dudes for so long that I'm raising my standards all the way up. If you're not doing this, you're not doing that, well then don't be with me, or you can't keep up. Basically saying like you're not a man if you can't keep up with what I'm asking for. And it wasn't like small things. It was just like, I'm high maintenance. I need you to take care of me, right? I need you to make money.
Like
it's just
nails,
like,
hair, all that stuff, or what?
yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Brand new car every year.
Yeah.
That's 2022. I don't want that.
and the kicker is, bro, that, hey, if you can't do this, you can't provide this for me, then you're not a real man. And bro, I kid you not, you see on the chat a lot of dudes would be like, yeah, these guys, yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, these guys like don't even, if these guys can't keep up, they shouldn't even be trying.
Those guys are probably the brokest guys,
And I'm just like, bro, like no, like what they're asking for is so much. Like there's only a certain amount of percent of men that make what you're asking for, and throughout the whole population. So you mean to tell me they're gonna want you when those dudes probably have options? So what about the dudes below you? You're gonna make them feel inferior. You're gonna make them feel insecure. You're gonna make them feel not worthy of themselves. Like, so I don't like the idea of having these huge standards. You can have standards for yourself. I think it's cool. If you don't want to go out with a girl who's not good looking, I think that's totally cool. But if you're like, hey, I need this, I need that, I need this, you need to make this much, or don't even talk to me, don't even look my way, like, it's kind of ridiculous. And it's hurtful. It's hurtful down the line, especially for young men. It is. So
I think it's like a weird like thing to walk on sometimes, because like you also don't want to be in this place where you're like, especially in this time and age and in California, like you need two people to make money. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, both people have to have an income, and both people have to like be responsible with their money. So that's like another thing that when it comes to something like that, where it's like, oh, money is attractiveness, it's like weird, like a slippery slope kind of, or like trying to like figure out, like, what if this girl is like, oh, she looks really good, or this guy looks really good, but he's like working out like Mickey D's or something, it's like, is that like gonna turn someone away? Like, I don't know, it's like, everyone's different, but it's like I feel like we do have to kind of sometimes look at what they bring to the table overall when you're looking for like a long-term relationship. Responsibility with the money is like, I think it's kind of important, but I don't think the amount of money you make is overall should be as important. But it's still like it's hard to explain,
You actually bring a good point about the responsibility of money. Like, there's dudes that make a lot of money, but they are living way above their means, and you know what I'm saying? They're making like $1 million, but they're broke too. So if what good is if you have all that money, you don't even know how to work it?
Well, it's like I feel like people get addicted to like chasing like luxury items, and so it's like, oh well, it's like almost you get a little bit of like serotonin release when you buy like the $2,000 like loafers or whatever, little things like that, where it's like every month you get paid, you like spend, and you give yourself like a little like serotonin release every time you like purchase these like items, where you end up like, man, I've got like $200 left for like two weeks till I get paid again. You didn't put anything in the savings. It's like people get so addicted to the chase of like buying things sometimes, especially when you have money, or like you've never had money and now you do. It's easy to be irresponsible with your cash.
Yeah, I mean, you can be. I mean, if you're really, California is kind of like the exception to the rule, but even if you weren't making that much, you could really try to like live way below your means. But I know we live in the Bay Area, so anything out here is going to be like 5 times the price anywhere else.
Yeah, it's hard.
Anywhere else in like the country,
Oh yeah, gas is like at 6 now.
I was also looking I saw a video the other day of a guy. I don't know what his name is, but I think he's kind of popular. I've seen a couple of his videos on TikTok, and he's I think he's like a millionaire or like a wealthy
Mhm.
person,
Mm.
and he talked about like having like, so he has his bank account, his wife has her bank account, and then they have one joint account. And he was saying that that's like probably the best way to, like, when you were in a relationship, to like run things, because you
Mm.
have your money, her money, and then our money, and then there's a certain amount percentage that you put into the joint account for your family, for your kids, all this stuff that like you need to pay for. But it's like, I'm not like, let's say if you have one joint account and your wife's getting like a $3,000 purse, and it's like that creates like arguments and stuff. But
Yeah.
if she has her account, she's spending her own money. I'm not looking at it. Our joint account is taken care of, and I have my own money to spend on what I want. And so you separate things, and you keep, everyone like stays happy. Like if you didn't save up, like that's on you. But you spent your money on that $3,000 purse. But what do you guys think about that? Joint
Yeah.
account or
Saagar, you go
separate
first.
account?
Let me go on this one. All right. First of all, I think that's a bad idea. I'm just kidding.
Shit, here we go.
No, I guess I've had that before, but it didn't last too long. I wasn't married, but I had a joint account with a girlfriend before, and it was pretty cool. I just read the relationship didn't go as far as it did, so I can't really speak too much on it. But I will say that it's not a bad idea in the sense of, and also holding each other accountable, right? What she's spending with her own money is one thing, and when you guys having a joint account is cool, because let's say one in a relationship or in a marriage, one partner tends to overspend, right? Then it's really hard to, or I guess it's like you can kind of hold them accountable, because if they start digging into the fund that you guys created together, right, then that's gonna cause issues. But I think overall, like what you're mentioning is a good idea in keeping a marriage happy and keeping you guys on the same track. Because as long as you guys are growing together and on the same path, and no one's moving to a different side or being adjacent to the path, then I think they're totally okay with that. So for me, I think it's a cool idea, and it keeps you guys on the same path, and you guys are working towards something. If you guys go out to, whatever you guys want to spend the money on,
Definitely,
say
like
you
it's
have kids down the line.
definitely more progressive. Like it's like something new. Like my parents always had just one account. Like a lot of people like that I've known, just like older people that are married. It's just they had just that one account, and it's I don't know. And I remember, like, oh, why'd you spend money on that? Why'd you spend money on this? I was like, why are you buying that? Too much of that going on, especially when like back in the day, like you said, like there's one sole provider, and that's your dad.
Yeah, and another thing too is having that joint account, right? I mean, God forbid, but let's say something happens down the line, whatever. At least you both will be good in a sense, right? Because let's say, for example, you were the one to go on for whatever reason, and let's say you guys have one account, and maybe because she's a breadwinner, she's in charge of it, then it would be like you're kind of screwed at the end, because she has all the money, and what are you gonna be left with? Pretty much nothing. So
you
that
also for
also.
everything else.
Mm-hmm.
If making the most.
I need that spousal support.
I need the alimony real quick.
Yeah. Where's that Lexus at? Where's that Lexus?
Feel that. What about you, Senor Sarisa? What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good idea. And I think we kind of talked about this on the last podcast, but I think it's also important that you have the same financial goals. So, and like one person, like two spenders is not going to be a good relationship, right? If they're both just blowing their money out, it's probably not going to be. You need like a saver and someone who's spender but kind of responsible with it. So I think you kind of need a balance of it. Yeah, because you don't want to be too hard of a saver, because then you can't really enjoy life. You don't want to be too hard of a spender, because then you're going to be like on the streets with the homeless people, like talking to yourself, So so you kind of need a little balance, and you have to make sure that your goals are intact, or like similar, like your financial goals, and yeah, I mean sometimes you guys are going to run into problems. But always trying to check in with your significant other. Having 3 accounts is great. Like Fuego said, if something does happen, you both have money that's separate from this joint account that's yours, and not just like, oh shit, how am I gonna like get rent?
Yeah.
So
No, definitely.
yeah. Cool.
Moving on progressive. Taking the right steps, Efren. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so let me go ahead and jump in real quick to the next point.
Let's go.
All right. And we are at
I think that's the 1246.
yeah. Or what's
That's
the
when
news
she starts
story?
asking the question.
Okay.
Yeah.
1240. Okay, so gotcha.
And just for the audience, this is a breaking points segment. Highly recommend that you watch the whole thing. They go into more depth, but we wanted to just cover 2 segments.
Yeah, it's a great video. You guys can see the screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
How about you, Efren?
Yeah. The video. So the YouTube.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Boys learn to manage that. So recognize there are some differences between them. It's a myth. There are no differences. Absolutely, you want equality of opportunity for both. Interestingly, now there's some evidence that people are starting to think it's more important for their girls to go get a good education than their boys. And that's not true. And I'm very worried that in some households, and this seems to be particularly true in more working class households, that educational success itself is being seen as more feminine. And it's incredibly important to send a message to the boys that actually you succeeding at school, you having chances at college or apprenticeships is just as important as your sister.
Right.
It feels weird to be saying this.
That
even
is
now,
odd,
because it's
right.
so recent. But the educational overtaking is so fast and so recent that honestly, our heads are spinning. It's like the poles on a compass reversing.
Right.
Like north became south overnight. And so I understand why we're all struggling. I've struggled with it, frankly, as I've been writing the book. But the evidence is pretty clear now that if we're worried about education, we need to worry about boys.
So if the old story we've told about like what it means to be a man is not functioning well in society, what does a new story sound like?
Yeah, we definitely need a new script for masculinity. I think that what's happened for women, I'd be interested to know if you agree with this,
Okay.
is there was an old script which was get married, get kids, have a stable family, etc. I'm simplifying.
Yeah.
The new script is get educated, get yourself independent, make sure you can take care of yourself. You go, girl, right? Make sure you can stand on your own feet. Very strong script. So we've replaced an old script with a new script for women. The old script for men, become a breadwinner, look after your family. The new script for men, not sure yet.
Right.
And that's the problem. And so a re-scripted, positive vision of masculinity has to be founded on, I think, some things that sound quite old, which is you do provide for your kids, but not just money, time and care, etc. So I think we need to start with fatherhood. The danger is that as the old model of masculinity has collapsed in the face of the changes that we've just mentioned.
All right, cool.
Cool.
Yeah. So, Efren, we'll let you lead the charge here. What are you? What are your thoughts on it?
I think he brought up a good point on spending time with your kids is important. Like fatherhood, how you raise your children. I think that's where a lot of these insecurities start from a young age. You have to teach. You have to let we're going into something new. Like I plan on having kids, and like you said, everything has changed. There's no script, so we have to figure out how to let our children know, or our boys know, if we have boys, that there is gonna be things are different. Women are gonna make more money or less money, and I think everyone, both parties, have to be comfortable with that happening. Either the man's gonna make more money or the woman's gonna, like, it's gonna happen. Like there's not like maybe or it won't. Like we don't know. So I think being comfortable with your significant other making more money, and then also like still raising a man, raising someone. Because I think he brought up, I don't know if we're gonna keep on going in the video, where he brought up something where he was like, it's mature masculinity. And I think that was really cool for him to say it that way, because that's what it needs to be. Because every time someone says masculinity, I feel like it's something negative. Like when you say someone's masculine, or like, oh, I have like masculine energy, like it seems like it's like nowadays everyone wants to put that in a negative way, and I don't think so. I think we could still raise strong masculine men that are respectful and mature, and I think that's what needs to happen. And do I know how? I don't, but we won't know till we start raising our own kids, you know.
That's well said. What do you think, Fuego?
Yeah, I like that too. I think, I guess for me, I know in society and everything, like I know in society, I know masculinity is seen as a bad thing, but I think just for me in general, like I don't even see it as a bad thing at all. Like I think being masculine is a cool trait to have. But like you mentioned, being a mature masculine man seems to be, I guess, like politically correct way to say it nowadays, just so you can get through with that word. But I think in general that is what masculinity is, right? You are mature, you are grounded, you are you know, a leader, you are in a sense a provider, you know, a caretaker or a provider, you know, you make sure your wife is good, you make sure your children are great. I think that's just masculinity in itself. So, but you know, nowadays maybe that mature masculinity could be a word used to help men still be masculine, still give them some type of wiggle room, because if there's no clear path, right, then it's like, where are they gonna go? But I think the true form of masculinity is masculinity. I think that's the only form there is. It's to be masculine as a man. So yeah, I think in that sense, yeah, definitely you need like they said, just because you're not the breadwinner doesn't necessarily mean that you're not masculine. You know, you can still provide for your kids, you can still be there for them, you can still teach a boy how to be a man. He doesn't, you know, we're in different times now, so he doesn't need to really worry as much to make money, but still give him the tools and give him the encouragement that he can go out there and be who he wants and make the money that he chooses to be in a competitive market, for sure. So I think all of that you can still do even if you make less. But granted, I think if you were to make a little more, it would give him more of a boost. Like, man, my dad makes this much amount. Like, oh, maybe I could shoot for more. Maybe make it like a competition in a sense, like a little one. Like,
or
I make this one
too. Yeah, progressing too, because it's like you don't want to be stuck in the same salary. But even if like your wife's making like 30 or 40, 50 more grand than you are, but each year you're also like climbing up there. Boom, boom. You know, I'm still making money. You know what I'm saying? We're still getting up there, because that's kind of how it is for me. Like my wife makes like, you know, 50 more grand than I do a year or whatever, and I'm like, you know, I'm moving up in my position, which I don't have. Cool, I don't have a diploma. I don't have anything, but I've put in the work. You know, I put in the work working in carpentry, and I'm slowly like I'm moving up. I'm making more, and it's like that keeps me happy too. You know what I'm saying? That also it's a confidence boost, because I mean, it's not that just because she was making money I would feel inferior. Like I said, like I think I've managed to break that like kind of chain where it's like I have to be the provider. So it's like for me, it's like it does give you like an extra, which I didn't think it would, but yeah, like, you know, I got lead position earlier this year, and I got, you know,
yeah, man, that shit's hard.
Exciting, you know. It was exciting, and it was like, it felt good, and like you got, you know, a boost in your salary, and it's like it feels good, like, and it's like, oh, I'm not, you know, I'm still like not making as much as my wife, but I'm pushing it, you know, I'm pushing it, and that's what we're doing. We're striving for more and more and more, and you could keep on climbing. Because I didn't get an education, you know.
I'm right there with you.
It's the kind of this, you know. But Senor Sondisa, my bad, I cut you off.
No, that's cool. No, that's cool.
No, yeah, you good. Yeah, you good. No, you're good.
That's cool. No, I think you said a lot of good things right there, and one of the things about masculinity that I think what I like about what you said about the maturity of masculinity is that, I mean, technically, like masculinity itself is mature, but I think the reason why that's a better word nowadays, kind of socially, is because they would remove that toxic element. So you would remove the word toxic to mature, right? And I think there needs to be a substitute, because if we don't have a substitute for that word, then that word toxic is just going to stay in front of the masculinity. Now, we all know that masculinity isn't toxic, and we know that masculinity is confidence, grounded, being a leader, being a go-getter, that kind of thing. But in society, if there's no word to replace something, it kind of stays.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that mature masculinity, it's a great word. I like what Fuego said about like being grounded and everything. You kind of have to be nowadays, because no matter what, either your coworkers, your family, your friends, they're gonna try to like you might get shit tested by them, and be put in certain situations where you're gonna have to learn how to handle yourself, and that's part of being masculine, right? Being knowing how to, um, how would I say, like, be able to not be moved by society, right?
Yeah, no, like influenced by like
Yeah,
whatever, like
exactly.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, influenced by your environment, and also too, like you mentioned, being the lead. I think just because I hold a similar position too where I work, and it's just like being embracing your masculine really helps, because on top, being masculine, you're a leader. So bringing that into the workforce, I'm telling everybody, hey, you better go do this. No, I'm just kidding. But at least you're able to stay grounded when things get shaky, when, a lot of team members, coworkers come and ask you a lot of questions because they're coming up to you. They
Yeah.
need your leadership, they need your advice. And to stay grounded and be in the masculine, like it really helps out a whole lot, because one, it gets a lot of things done, and two, when things change, when things shift, you're always prepared for it. And I think if you
Yeah,
don't have that, yeah,
it almost feels like you get a little testosterone boost, like when you're in like a lead position. It's like I was like, yeah, it's like you're like alpha up in there, you can't. I mean, I try not try to be like equal to everybody. It's definitely
yeah,
not as easy as as you think it would be. I mean, this is my
yeah.
first time ever being in a like leadership position, and I've been
Mm-hmm.
working in carpentry for like 15 years, and it's like on and off. So it's like I know what to do, I know what needs to get done, but I've never been like, hey, like I need you to do this, I need you to do that. So, like the last couple of years, I've been like building up to get this position, and I finally like got it. It's like they like slowly brought me in. They're like, hey, like we need this from you, and then we'll see what we can do. And it's like it does create a little bit of like I guess like a confidence boost, when you get in that kind of responsibility.
Yeah.
What's something, I'm just curious, like, now that you're in this position, what's something that you've learned that you probably wouldn't have learned if you weren't in that position?
I learned that people will hear what they want to hear. You'll tell them something, right?
Hmm.
In a certain way where it's like you're not trying to offend anyone or anything, but they'll take something that you said that you want to be something positive or like a positive like conversation, they will turn it negative right away. Like I've learned that people will hear what they want to hear, and they'll take your tone however they want to take it. So it's like you have to really choose your words when you're talking to people, and that's what I'm starting to notice more about people of power or people who have certain responsibilities than others. I'm starting to notice like this the conversations you have with people definitely do change. And so that's something that it's like before it's like you're just an everyday worker, an everyday guy. Like you don't really see that kind of side of people where it's like, oh well, I'm just gonna like you told me this, but I'm like gonna translate it into something negative, or it could be the other way around. So you just never know what people's day is gonna be like.
What about you, Fuego? What's something that you learned that you probably wouldn't have learned if you weren't in it?
Yeah, a lot of things, to be honest. I think, yeah, because same as you, Efren, I've never been in a I'm not a lead. I'm like right beneath the lead, but I'm still a lead, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's a
Yeah.
weird position. It's a weird position, but I'm
Yeah,
still
no,
technically a lead.
same thing with us. We have like all different types. We have like different lead positions. So it's like lead, supervisor, manager, and then it's like,
Yeah.
you know, like, so I'm like shop lead, and then there's a shop manager, and there's like a production manager on top of him, and then there's like the manager that runs the whole warehouse on top of that guy. So it's like we have all these steps, you know. So
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah,
the same as you, kind of probably. I'm like just the shop lead.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, what I've learned is one, how much responsibility they have. When before I became lead, when I was just working, I used to think that yeah, you're a lead and you make some decisions, but I didn't know the depth of how many decisions they have to make daily and how many things can go wrong and will go wrong, and how you have to be the one who's the front line of it all, because not only are you like you're like in the middle of your employees and maybe like some like on our end are like QAs, right? So it's a whole different level of spectrum of individuals in your team that you got to care for because they have their questions or concerns. But then you also have the leadership and the ones on top who they make the business, the decision calls, the business calls, where obviously where it really comes in with the money. So you got to figure out and solve all of these problems on top of your responsibilities that you're supposed to do. And for me, when I was and starting and moving up, I used to see it and be like, oh man, they probably have a lot of free time. Like I don't think they're that busy up there. Nah, once I got up there, I was like, dang, this is like, if you want to talk about having responsibility, that's a good place to start, because yeah, it's so much to go on. And for me, I think that really helps out my masculinity because I embrace that responsibility. Even though at first, like, I wasn't prepared for it and had a learning curve. Now that I'm like getting there now, like I have a really good balance now. Now I'm a bit more like, now I can just extinguish the fires quickly. But yeah, it was crazy. What was that?
Yeah.
And then the other, yeah, for sure, it's a crazy. And then the other part is just more on the business side, the talks they have, what they're looking for, things like that. I never even knew that was a discussion when I first started. I just thought you come in, you work, you get paid, that's it. Now it's like we hold these meetings and we have meetings with stakeholders and these things, and it's like it's really, really like
yeah,
it's
they'll
really,
throw
really
some
deep.
gems out. You gotta really pay attention to those in those meetings, because like
Yeah,
they'll throw little gems here and there that you're like, okay, business gems or just like leadership, like little gems that they'll throw at you, and like you gotta really like pay attention and take that in. I think that's how I kind of got into it, having being put into meetings last year little by little and hearing what these like guys had to like say or do. Sometimes you just gotta know when to just pay attention. I kind of didn't even talk at these things at first. I was just kind of in the back. I was like, all right.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, that
Yeah,
really
sorry, for me it was like getting a schedule of like my day. Like in the morning I got to do this, and then by this time I need to get started on that. That way my day could flow easier. So that was kind of hard for me, because I was like, the hardest shit needs to be done in the morning. And like for me, it was just like by the end of the day, you're a little more like it was just I didn't have a good flow at first, but now it's like getting a schedule of your day and making like lists and all these things that need to like happen.
Yeah, just making sure that your day runs as smooth as possible, right? So you don't get burned out.
Yeah, definitely. And like my boss took the shop manager, the guy that runs the whole thing, he's on vacation. So now I had like, this was the first next week. Yesterday was my first day like that I had to like log on the computer, print stuff out, get work orders together. So like that was kind of like hectic when it was like, all right, it's like 1:30 and we still have like these items that are missing that need to be done. And now I got to run around and like find these items. And I was just like, oh man, I'm on a crunch. Like, these got to get done before I leave. I was like, where are they? It's like, I left everything for these guys there. And it's like things that just don't get processed through, because we have like a little software system where you scan orders in, and there's just like a couple orders that didn't get scanned. I'm like, oh, good. But it's like so much stress.
Yeah, I feel that for sure. So yeah, it really, all of that really helps out for I guess for anybody who wants to be a leader. But I think just since edges including masculinity, I think being a lead really, really helps embody that for sure. It really does, because now you're doing it.
Yeah.
One thing is thinking about it. The other thing is really being in the field. And when you're in the field, it's like, all right, we got to get things done. And yeah, no, it feels freaking cool. Like I really like it. Like with all the responsibilities that comes with it. Honestly, it's better than what I thought it'd be, to be honest. Even though sometimes it can get kind of, you know, there's hiccups here and there, but I mean, it's just life, you know. There's always
Haters, you know, there's haters out there too, you know.
Yeah, there's that too.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know about your work, but there's definitely people that don't understand. Yeah. They're like, oh well, why is this guy the boss? You know, like why is this guy?
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I was
the guy that's late every day to work and shit. You know,
taking 45-minute lunches.
Yeah, man. I don't know why he's the manager. He's over here with a freaking hella late, just sitting in the break room, like, bro, get to work, man. What the hell?
Yeah, taking a 30-minute break on his 15. You know, like we're not gonna, like we haven't noticed.
Oh man, yeah, no, it's a bit different on mine because I'm like in the tech field, so they're a little bit more chiller. It's not too bad. Yeah, I mean, there's still, you know, right, there's still things that happen, but it's not so like, doesn't happen too often. Everybody's really just cool in their own thing, so that's kind of
yeah. No, I mean, my immediate guys are good, but like there's like another part of our warehouse where they're just shipping. It's a full like door and window shop, so it's like there's like a door shop where we just pre-hang doors and we work with wood and carpentry stuff. And the other side's like they're on forklifts, they're moving windows around, and those guys kind of don't really mix well with our guys, you know. So it's like a little bit of, it's every workplace drama. I feel like every place you work at, it's a little bit like, but my immediate guys are awesome. Like the people I work with, like the door shop guys, everyone's pretty straightforward dudes, all down to get paid. They're down to get money, you know. So it's like they know they have a responsibility to do and they need to get it done. So, you know, we work well, and they're about my age. There's only like 2 or 3 guys that are like older OGs, older Mexican dudes, and those guys are kind of sometimes harder to deal with. It's just because they're like these old Mexican dudes that have like their own ways of doing things.
Yeah,
they don't want to change. They don't want to change, but it's awesome.
Oh man. But I really do like I always just like thinking about it. I really do like the modern masculinity. Like I kind of want to start using that now, like as a hashtag, just kind of to, like Fabian said, in order for you to remove the toxic, there has to be something to replace it.
Well, it's
I
like,
think,
I
think that'd be really cool.
I agree because
I like it.
Like I said, I don't know when it started. I'm not sure when this huge feminist wave started coming through, where it's like, you know, all men are pigs and all this stuff that was like on the internet, and I think still is. And it's like, it's almost like if you have to use the word masculine in it, it's like, it just means like it's a negative. It's almost like, oh, if I'm masculine, I'm like a woman hater or something like that. Like you can't be masculine because it's like they put it in such a bad, like, you know, light. Where it's like hearing that guy say like mature masculinity, I was like, that's awesome. I was like, this is exactly what people need to hear, you know?
And then they also, the people that are in the far, like too far gone, I would say, like the too far, like feminists, and the too far, like what they call red pillars or whatever. They're exactly the same people. They're just blaming each other for the problem, right? They don't find solutions. And oh yeah, go ahead.
Keep going.
And so I guess my thing was like, they also use negative. They use like the worst example as of a dude to try to describe all men. They'll use like Epstein and, you know, the other guy from the Me Too movement. Weinstein, yeah. Epstein, Weinstein, all those guys. Anything with Steen is like, it's no good, right? They use that to like define like they use anything to define like masculinity, but they don't talk about like the good leaders in the world that are men that are trying to, you know, make positive change. They just want to throw that out there.
There's dirtbag guys, but there's just as many like dirtbag women out there, you know, like doing shady shit too. So
yeah,
you know,
and we don't call that toxic femininity, right? Like we don't.
No, of course not. But it's like, you know, the way I looked at it was like, well, I don't fucking fit that description, so I know you ain't talking about me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. just knowing yourself to the core and not allowing it to shake you is just one of those traits, like we talked about earlier, just one of those like masculine things. If you know who you are and you don't allow society to pressure you to be in something, then you know, cool.
It's hard though because I feel like also people want to like they'll end up it's just like everyone wants everyone to feel sorry for each other or something like that. Or like they like it's so like victim here, victim there. Like everyone's like, oh well, you know, like I don't know. It's just not. Everyone wants to play victim sometimes in these situations. Like they're like they point fingers. It's your fault. It's your fault. And it's like just let's find something where we can find a middle ground and like make some progress. You know, as a whole. Because it's like it's always about me, and then me. It's always just me, or like this is what I support, like this is what I'm supporting now, and like you should too. But it's like I don't want to. Some stuff you don't want to support. You don't have to, you know. But I feel like anything something goes viral, like everyone's behind it, you know. As soon as something where it has to do with any type of feminism type stuff, or like even like the Andrew Tate thing, like it's like the guy's a character, you know what I'm saying? Like he's on social media, and then like everyone's
I got my Bugatti.
Top G,
you know,
top
like,
G.
Top G.
that guy's he's you know he's awesome. Like he's funny, you know what I'm saying? Like he's got good content. It's for the YouTube, you know. Like I think some stuff is like just too far fetched. Like it's like his character is just too strong. You know what I'm saying? I think some of the stuff that he says is kind of is far fetched for sure.
Yeah.
But he's very confident in that character. You know.
Yeah, I mean that's a whole other discussion, right? Like getting banned from YouTube and just censorship. I think that's another like us guys. If we say something even a little bit edgy, we can get banned. But if it's the opposite way, then it's okay. You know what I'm saying? It's toxic masculinity. Hoorah, you know, victim.
Yeah. Like look at Joe. You know, well, Joe's done some skeptical shit, but
you talking about Joe Rogan?
Huh?
Joe Rogan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, Joe's done some skeptical shit, maybe you know, but he's getting everyone's getting canceled. Everyone's trying to get canceled. And I feel like that's like I don't know, like the normal. Like you can't say anything about nothing, or like they'll pick up something from your past and they'll try to cancel guys all the time. But it's like if you dig into anything, like it's like why do you support like Floyd Mayweather? You know what I'm saying? He used to hit his wife. I was like, thanks for supporting a woman beater. I was like, if you go back to anyone that like you like in sports or comedy or anything, I guarantee you everyone's got a past where they've done some shady shit. Like they were supposed to cancel everyone, you know? You can't. Like you can't cancel every single sports player, because I guarantee you, if you look behind and everyone like went in and they dug up tweets and all this stuff from anyone and like that's like famous a celebrity, they'll find something.
Well, you're also
they'll find something that they wrote when they were like 12 or something like that, or like
15, that's exactly what I was going with.
Whatever,
that, yeah.
You know,
you're in high school, you're pissed off that your teacher gave you a test assignment. You're like, fuck you, whatever, and then they're like,
yeah,
well, see this person, they're not capable of handling themselves at 12 years old.
Yeah, or like you know, I think people are weird. Like I'll post stuff about a certain like I was on TikTok and I commented something on there's this boxer named Gervonta Davis. He's a great boxer. I don't know if you guys heard of him, Tank.
Yeah,
he's beating everybody up, and so I was like, oh, you know, it was like one of his knockouts that he did like maybe last year, and I was like, this is an awesome knockout. And some guy commented, he was like, well, you know, congratulations, you're supporting a women beater. And so I replied back, I was like, hey, dude, like, I didn't know that happened, first of all. I was like, I'm not sure. I was like, no, he's an asshole for that. Like, I don't support him beating his wife, but that doesn't mean that he isn't a great fucking boxer. That's not going to change the fact that he's one of the best in the world right now, you know? That doesn't change that fact. So it's like, I don't know what his point was by saying that. Or like when they say the same thing about athletes, like, oh, well, so-and-so used to beat his wife, or he did this, or he did that. It's like, doesn't mean that he ain't a fucking all-star, you know? Doesn't make him a weak player. But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting for sure. Yeah, cancel culture is it's a big
It's a whole
hit
other
for-
topic, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
have a whole
yeah.
whole video for that.
Yeah, hell yeah. Cause I guess we're getting close to the end of the episode. You
Want to do the hashtag thing?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and say that? So, Senor Teresa?
Oh, I don't even know what to say. Oh, okay. So we have this kind of game, Efren, that we kind of just made it up on the fly, and it's called hashtag. So we're gonna give you a question, and then you're gonna reply with 5 hashtags.
Oh my god.
All right. So the first one is like, what does it? How would I say this? What is masculinity not?
What is masculinity not?
Mhm.
Hashtag fragile.
Okay.
Let me see.
No, take your time. There's no rush.
It's the hashtag fragile. It's not fragile. You put me on the spot.
Whatever comes to your mind.
Huh?
Whatever comes to your mind.
Hashtag hashtag boring. It's not boring. Hashtag depressed. Hashtag anxiety driven. Hashtag. How many more do I have?
Yeah, one more.
Hashtag
Last one. Make it count. Make it count.
I'm horrible at this.
Let's go.
I'm gonna the hashtag weak.
There you go.
That's 5. Yeah, that's 5.
There you go.
I'm probably gonna think of like really good ones later. I'm like, my vocabulary just turned off. Like I was like,
it's all good.
I know it's like my 5th grader vocabulary turned on.
All right, well, you do the next one.
Okay, I'm gonna go a bit simpler, so it's not too hard. Not
Okay.
that's too hard. It's just to get the brains running this early. I'm with you, man. I'm there. Okay, so yeah, 5 hashtags for worst ice cream flavors.
Hashtag raisin. Hashtag rocky road.
Whoa,
Hashtag-
wait a minute. No, go ahead. No, go ahead.
Hashtag mango. Hashtag strawberry. And hashtag what's one that there's one that I really don't like. It's from Baskin Robbins. Oh man. Oh, sherbet. Hashtag sherbet.
Okay.
It's not good.
Okay, cool. Yeah, those are the ones I had in mind. I guess yeah, we're here. We hit the hour mark, so I guess with that we'll go sign off. Yeah, guys. So thank you, Efren, for coming on for this great episode. It's been very informative, fun. It's nice just chopping it.
Hell yeah! Thank you for coming on. Thank you for your time.
Definitely.
Yeah,
and
thanks
for rocking
having
the
me,
shirt.
guys.
Yeah, and for rocking the
definitely.
shirt,
I try to rock it as much as I can.
I really appreciate it. Even the photos you take, right? The ones you like post
Yeah.
on your stories. Even that's
Yeah,
sick,
I
so
think I'm gonna cut the sleeves off, make it like a little gym shirt, so I can wear it.
Hell yeah!
Okay.
You know what I'm
That's
saying?
cool. You got like a muscle tee.
Hell yeah, dude. Eddie Guerrero style, you know?
Hell
Latino
yeah.
Heat.
Latino Heat, hell yeah. Doing here at the
Take a
gym.
little man crop top out of it, you know?
But yeah, Efren, anything you want to shout out in particular? Any socials you want to put out for the audience?
I mean, just my Instagram at FrenG11. If anyone needs help with getting in shape, taking care of their health, I'm a type 2 diabetic. So I've got information on that I can hand out if anyone needs help with that. Yes, just hit me up. I do my best on getting my blood work done, and I encourage everyone that's male to get their blood work done yearly, every 6 months, and always check your nuts. You know what I'm saying? Always check your nuts every week. Yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Right on, guys. Yeah, so guys, yeah, and then for us, just guys, please go ahead and like, subscribe, share this, with your homies, pass it around, let them know of this banger of an episode. All three of us killed it today, so thank you guys as well.
Let's go. What a great day.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So with that, all right, guys, thank you for your time, and we'll see you guys later.
Signing out.
Have a good one.
All right, guys.
All right, guys.
Peace.